Hi. Hi. Hi, guys. How are you? So, tonight, I'm just waiting for us to go live everywhere. You know, we do our multi streaming. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're also on YouTube. So, as usual, if you can hear me and see me, let me know in the comments before we jump into tonight's discussion. And tonight, I want to talk to you. Okay, good. You hear me? Very good. Tonight, I actually want to talk to you about the importance of knowing your ideal clients to create the best content. You know, we've been talking about content creation over the last week and how important it is as an entrepreneur for you to create content that really attracts your ideal clients. And I know this has been a big struggle for so many entrepreneurs. So that's why I want to come on and talk about it tonight. But there are always some moving parts, right? And that's why I wanted to talk about it. So, for those of you who are here for the very first time, I am your coach, Adana Austin. I work with entrepreneurs like yourself to get very clear on your goals, identify your ideal clients, and develop the strategies to grow your business. And one of the things that I teach you about is your content creation. But as I always say to you guys, right, even though we talk about goal setting, we talk about your marketing strategies, we talk about your sales strategies and your sales funnels and everything is connected, right? Nothing moves without the other. And that's why it's important for you to have a clear understanding of how each one of these things would affect you in the long run. And tonight, we want to talk about how knowing your ideal clients will affect your content creation and how you can use that to your advantage. Because most times when we think about content creation, we think about where are we going to post, how are we going to show up, how many times should we post, and that kind of thing. But the biggest question is actually, what do I say? And what do I say consistently so that my audience does not get bored, they don't get tired of hearing the same thing or seeing the same visual over and over and over. And that's a real issue and a real challenge that so many of you have expressed, right? And to that, one of the answers to that is really about knowing your ideal client. If you are struggling with identifying exactly who you are selling to, then creating content that is going to convert your listeners, your readers into paying clients is going to be a struggle. And that's why you can't skip that part and just start a Facebook page or Instagram feed or YouTube channel or start a blog or start a podcast, right? Before you do any of those things, before you decide to show up in a video like this or send an email or write anything on social media, you first have to be very clear about who you want to speak to, right? Because we have already established that you are not selling to everybody, right? We already know this. You want to sell to a niche audience. You want to sell to a specific niche of people who need and want your services, who have very specific challenges that you are going to speak to, right? So it's not to everybody. You're not just putting, and it doesn't matter what you sell. A lot of times when people sell what they think very commercial, like let's say you're selling clothes or food, usually in those kind of industries, people feel like, well, we're talking to everybody because everybody wears clothes and everybody eats food. But not everybody wears the type of clothes that you are selling. And not everybody eats the type of food that you are selling. Not everybody uses the type of phones that you are selling. Not everybody uses the type of software that you are using. Not everybody is an entrepreneur if you work with entrepreneurs. Not everybody is an entrepreneur. And even if they are an entrepreneur, they are at different stages. So, at what stage do you need to come in for entrepreneurs? You have to be very clear about who your ideal clients are. Give me a one in the comments. I like to get feedback from you guys, right? So I'm not feeling like I'm just talking in air and talking to myself. So give me a one in the chat as usual if this is making sense to you so far. And if you're listening to this on the replay as usual, put replay in the comments so I know that you're listening to this in the replay. So give me a one if that is making sense. Really knowing who your ideal clients are. And let's break down what that is. Because a lot of times, we talk about in the creation of content, great content, valuable content, content that inspires, motivates, educates, entertains, right? We know that we have to figure out, first of all, we talked about this last week, we have to figure out what our content pillars are, right? And our content pillars are the things that we want to be known for. We want to be known and what are the topics and themes. And it doesn't mean what you are doing. Notice what I said. The content pillar is not what you are. So my content pillar is not I am a business coach. That is not my content pillar. My content pillar is what you want to be known as and what you want to be known for. What are the topics that you are speaking to your audience about over and over again, right? It can be 3 to 5 different topics and themes. Those are topics or themes that you're using to build your brand authority. So anytime anybody in your niche, right, that you are trying to target thinks about these 3 to 5 topics, they would automatically think about you because you consistently talk about it, reiterate it, show it in different ways, show examples, share stories, share behind the scenes, share all this stuff. So those are your content pillars. So yes, you need to have your content pillars, and you also need to have your content buckets. And your content buckets come from your content pillars. And those buckets are really extension of your pillars, right? So when you create those 3 to 5 pillars, then you want to do an exercise where you are now expanding on those pillars, right? And that's how you create your buckets, right? So, yes, you need to have your content pillars and you need to have your content buckets. You need to have that very clear in your mind. What are the things that I want to talk about? But the second thing, after you come up with your pillars and your buckets, you need to figure out who am I speaking to? Who are my ideal clients? Because we always say as well that your ideal clients are at different stages of the buying process. Some of them may now be hearing about you, so how you speak to them may be different. Some of them may have bought from you in the past, so how you speak to those are going to be different from people who are now buying from you. Some of them may be a little more advanced. So if you have, like, remember we talk about having a low ticket, mid ticket, and high ticket item. How you speak to somebody who's ready to buy a high ticket item is totally different. So how you speak to somebody who is now being introduced to you maybe and wants to test you out and buy a low ticket item. Yeah. So how you speak to each one of them is different. So how you speak to them, and that could be your tone, it could be the choice of words that you use. That is so very important. Give me a two if that is making sense. Because how I will speak to a brand new entrepreneur is going to be different to how I speak to a seasoned entrepreneur. Because a brand new entrepreneur may not understand some of the terminology, might not have some of the experience that an entrepreneur who has been in business maybe 3 to 5 years has been in, right? Who already has clients and that kind. They wouldn't have that experience. So the conversation that I may have with somebody who is brand new is going to be different from the conversation that I have with somebody who has been in business maybe 3 years, who's already having clients, who's already making some money and is trying to elevate their money and, you know what I mean, really raise how much money that they are making and all that kind of thing. So the conversations are different. So how they speak, how your ideal clients speak, you have to be in tune, right? The words that they use, the tone that they use, right? You also have to be in tune with what is their mindset, right? Where are they in your funnel? Where are they mentally, right? Where are they mentally, and speak directly to that, right? You also want to pay attention to who are they around. who are they around? If your ideal clients are other entrepreneurs, are these entrepreneurs who do a lot of networking? So are they spending time like in the chambers of commerce? Are they spending time, you know what I mean, in charm? Are they spending time in groups where they're talking about business every single day? Are they doing a lot of collaborations with people? Again, because what they speak about, what they how they envision their lives and how they envision their business is very, very different to somebody who is not experiencing any of those things at all in their life or in their business. And that is why it is important for you to really, 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 really know your ideal clients. What are they reading? What are they being exposed to? Right? I know these are not questions that you may naturally just think, okay, I need to have a handle on this. But yes, these are the questions you need to ask. Who are they exposed to? Where are they going? What are they reading? Who are they around? What are they talking about? How do they speak about the challenges that they have? What are the words that they use when they are describing the challenge? And the other part of it, what are the words that they are using when they are describing the solutions that they want to experience in their life, right? How are they describing food? How are they describing how they feel when they put on a nice outfit? How are they describing how they feel when they find a really nice shoe or jewelry or something? How are they feeling when they, or how are they speaking about when they have their money in order? How are they speaking about those things, right? And a clear indication for you is look back. If you have testimonials, look back at what people are saying, right? Look back in your communities, in your spaces. Pay attention to what people are saying and how they are saying it so that when you are crafting your own content to put online, whether it's social media posts, in a video, in an email, in a blog, that you are using the words, not just the words, but you are using tone, the same tone, the same excitement, the same wonder that they are also using in their descriptions. Does that make sense, guys? Give me a three if that is making sense. Give me a three if that is making sense. Yes, yes, because the goal of knowing your ideal clients, the goal of understanding how they think, where their mindsets are, the goal of understanding who they are hanging around with, and you know how they really conduct themselves on a day-to-day basis. The goal is so that you can speak like them, speak like and for them. So you're not speaking down to anybody, right? So you want to speak like them and you want to speak for them. You also want to speak in the language that they are using to educate them, because if they hear somebody who's sounding just like them, it's easier for them to receive the message. So it's not about talking down to them and saying, hey, you don't know about this and da 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 da. You want to speak to them in a way that encourages them to really listen to what you are saying, right? So that they can receive the education, the inspiration, the motivation, whatever it is that you're sharing on that day, right? You want to tell the stories and give examples that they can relate to. How would you be able to share stories that they can relate to? How would you be able to give examples to them that they can relate to if you don't know exactly what they are going through? Right? So if you know your ideal clients are going through the stress of putting all their things together, like all their accounting stuff together to meet their quarterly deadlines, to pay their quarterly taxes, like what are they complaining about? Why is it so hard for them? Is it because they don't have the tools? They don't know, they don't even understand the importance of it. What exactly is going on in their head? What are the conversations that they are having, maybe with other entrepreneurs and stuff? And how are they actually describing that feeling of overwhelm, that feeling of frustration, that feeling of having to learn the tools, that feeling of always missing a deadline or feeling anxious whenever that deadline for taxes or whatever it is, or end of month or payroll comes around? How are they describing those things, right? You want to speak in their language and you want to speak to them about those things And then obviously always offer the solution in the same tone, in the same language so that it resonates with them. And that's why I say to you guys too a lot of times, when you are writing content, right? You a lot of us feel that you have to write in this tone that sounds like an ad. No, right? Like if you're having a conversation, right? Like if you're having a conversation, if you can identify who your ideal clients are, and you may have one or two, you may have three different ideal clients, give them a name, right? Picture them, picture what they look like, picture like if they were standing in front of you, picture if you were meeting them at a networking event or you were meeting them outside. How would you tell them about your services? How would you tell them about how you can solve their challenges? What questions would you ask? I am positive, 100% positive, you're not going to speak to them like if you're running an ad. No, you're going to speak to them like a normal human being, right? So in your content that you're sharing, yes, you want to sound professional, and yes, you don't want to use the green verbs and all of those great things. Great, fine. But you also want to come across like a normal person, right? So you want to write and speak like you're having a conversation. Think about when I do these trainings with you guys every week as well. What do? I come and I have a conversation with you. I don't use all the jargon and that kind of thing. Now, understanding, knowing who your ideal clients are and where they are, there's a time and place for jargon, right? There's a time and place for you to speak in all that technical speak, right? And again, you will know when, you should know when that time and place is based on who your ideal clients are and where you are speaking to them. Give me a four if that makes sense. Give me a four if that makes sense. Because a lot of times when you go on your social media pages and stuff, everything sounds like an ad. And I'm like, but why are you not having a conversation? Why are you not sharing a story or sharing an example or sharing a behind the scenes? Because content creation is not just about the pretty flyer that you created in Canva or the pretty carousel and that kind of thing. It's about the conversation. It's about building a relationship with your audience, right? Getting that engagement from them, they getting to know you and you getting to know them. And how does that happen? That happens by just sharing your day-to-day story, share your day-to-day life. And I know it can be a huge mind shift for so many of you because you feel like if I tell them my stories, give me a four. If I tell them my stories, then they would feel that I am not professional, but it's quite the opposite of that. If you tell your stories as it happens to you, you will create a stronger bond with your ideal clients, right? And it becomes so much more, it just becomes easier for you to create that content that is going to convert into actual sales because you would recognize that you don't necessarily have to be like buy from me, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me every single time that you show up, right? Or I have a sale on this, or I have a discount on this, or oh, look how nice this is looking. No, you wouldn't have to have those kind of conversations all the time. You can actually have conversations with your ideal clients about the ins and outs of your business, the day to day ups, the downs, the good, the bad, the ugly, the things that inspire you, the things that motivate you, and all. You know what I mean? And those are the things that are going to make people build that know, like, and trust your ideal clients, build that know, like, and trust, and turn around and say, yes, 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 I want to work with this person, not the person who necessarily writes the prettiest ads. You know what I mean? Or the person who has the prettiest design in Canva, right? You have to figure out, okay, how can I have these normal conversations with my audience, right? But again, you have to know who your ideal clients are. Give me a five if that is making sense. And don't be afraid, ask questions, guys. Ask questions in the chat. Ask me any questions. If you agree, if you have challenges, if there's a question that you want to ask about how you can actually start to do this in your own business, because it is a mindset shift, right? We really, really believe that we have to sound like, um, get 5% off on this, get 10% off on this. We have to sound like if we're writing from a textbook, and that is not how you are going to hook, because you want to hook your ideal clients. You want to hook them with stories. You want to hook them with authentic conversations that you would have with them if you were actually seeing them face to face. But again, know who they are, know where they are in the buying process, because again, how you would speak to somebody who is now meeting you for the very first time may be a little different to how you would speak to somebody who has known you for a couple of years, who has bought from you, who has come to your trainings or come to your shop before, who bought from you before. You know what I mean? How you engage with them may be different. And you may be saying, no, Adana, it's not different. But trust me, it is very, very different until you build up that level of familiarity with them. Your conversations with them actually change. Do you believe social media is saturated? No, I don't believe it's saturated. I think it's very misused. I think it's if you're not using it the right way, then it may feel that way to you. But I think social media is one of the fastest ways for you to get to know your ideal clients, share your message, and actually grow your business. But it's not the only way. Let's make that very, very clear, right? It's not the only way, but if you want speed, yeah. So I know a lot of people feel saturated with social media, feel that it is saturated, feel overwhelmed with it. And a lot of times it's because they don't understand how to actually use the platform, because there's a sense of what do I share? How often do I share? Everybody is saying the exact same thing. And this is where creating content that makes sure that you are setting your business apart from everybody else who may be selling the exact same thing that you are selling, right? You have to know how to position yourself, to how to differentiate yourself from others. And that's the thing. You can have 4 or 5 different hairdressers and everybody's saying the same thing. There's absolutely no difference between them, right? You have to decide, okay, what are my pillars? What are my buckets? What is my tone? What is my, you know what I mean? What am I actually saying so that I can be differentiated from everybody, right? Also knowing like what images get your audience like excited and motivated to take action. All of those things are very, very important, right? But again, know your ideal client. Spend some time really digging deep. Don't just tell me, well, my ideal clients are entrepreneurs. You want to tell me what type of entrepreneurs are they? Are they entrepreneurs who are now starting out in business? And if they are now starting off in business, are they entrepreneurs in which industries? Because it can't be all, right? In which industries are you interested in? Are they just service-based businesses? Are they product-based businesses? Are they businesses that have staff? Are they businesses that making a particular amount of money? Are they businesses that already have a website? Are they businesses that have at least they are on at least 2 social media platforms? Are they businesses like really, 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 really dig deep? Are there businesses where the owner of the business is the face of the business? Are there businesses that collaborate with other businesses? Like what are the what how would you describe that ideal client? Like dive deep. And when you can dive that deep into describing them, then that creating that content to convert, that will convert into sales becomes easier, right? It becomes so much easier. And before we close, I want you to think about this thing. Think about how many in Trinidad, at least we have 30 something radio stations, right? We have at least 3 major um, television stations as well as newspapers, right? How is it possible for each one of them to be able to survive with 1.4 million people? And it's because even with sharing the same information, they know their ideal clients and they know how to share news for their ideal clients, right? They understand that, right? What news they might sensationalize, Guardian might not sensationalize. What Guardian might put as the headline or put as their main story, Express mightn't put that as their main story. That's why in certain newspapers like Guardian might have the business news and Express might have the woman express, right? Because they understand who their ideal clients. They have spent time, niching out that market so that they can produce content that is that is attracting that ideal client, that speaks to that ideal client, that gets that ideal client excited. And think about 35 radio stations, all different types of radio stations. We don't listen to all. Most people in Trinidad have maybe three stations, if so much, that they listen to on a regular basis, right? There is a reason that you listen to those stations on a regular basis. You are their ideal client. It is not by chance. They don't just say, okay, let me start a radio station and hope that people tune in. They know, okay, our target audience is urban, our target audience is mom, our target audience are Christians, our target audience are Hindus, our target audience are whatever it is. So they create content specifically for those people. And then when they approach advertisers, right, there's a marrying of the two, right? The advertisers are also interested in these ideal clients, right? That is how you have to think about your business, guys. Even when you're collaborating with others, right? Are they talking to my ideal clients or are they just really popular? Right? Being popular does not mean that they are speaking directly to your ideal clients, and it doesn't mean that you're going to get a return on your investment if you collaborate with them. It has to be very strategic and thought out. Give me a six if that is making sense. It has to be very strategic. It has to be well thought out. It has to make sense for you in the long run, but it also has to be consistent for you to get the results that you want. It has to be a consistent thing that you are doing. It can't be that you just do it today and then you don't do it for the rest of the week. It cannot be that, right? And it also doesn't mean that you have to post or show up every hour on the hour as well. You have to know your ideal clients, right? If somebody is talking to me about, they already making like $20,000 a month and they want to, move from $20,000 to $30,000, how I speak to them is obviously going to be different from somebody who is coming to me to work with me from scratch, who has literally not made a cent as yet. The approach is going to be different. The messages that I send to them will be different. The whole program is going to be different. So you have to keep that in mind when you are talking to your ideal clients. And that's why you'll do certain things. Like if you have your email list, you segment your email list because people would have joined your email list for different reasons, right? And at different stages of the buying process. So you will send emails to them based on the stage that they came in to your email list at, right? Similarly, if what you may share on one platform may be a little different to how you share it on a different platform. Why? Because the audience, and I mean social media platforms, right? Because the audience might be a little different. Sometimes what you share on Facebook doesn't necessarily translate well on, let's say, like a LinkedIn or something because the audience is different. Or it might even translate well on a Twitter because the audience is completely different, right? So on Facebook, polar opposites of each other, polar opposites, right? So you have to know your ideal clients, know where they are, know how they speak, know where they show up, know who they're associating with, know how they speak about the challenges and how they speak about the results that they want to experience in their life in order for you to create that specific content that will convert into sales and convert into recurring clients and recurring income in your business. Does that make sense, guys? Any other questions? No questions at all? No questions at all? Right. So if you want to learn more about this and how you get started, we are having our content creation masterclass on May 4th. It's an online class, it's a virtual class. So no matter where you are, you can join us. It's from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. We go through all of these things. We go through your content pillars, your content buckets, your video marketing, content for your video, content for your emails, content for your blogs. We create at least a 30-day content calendar for you, right? It's going to be an interactive training. It's not just about me talking, but you will actually be creating content on the day of the actual masterclass so that you walk away not just with notes, but with actual content that you can share, right? So if you're listening to me on Facebook, I just dropped the link in the comments. If you're on Instagram, check the link in my bio. It should be the first link. And click on that link. It will give you so much more information about the masterclass and it gives you the opportunity to sign up. Right? So I hope to see as many of you as possible in the masterclass on May 4th. You have a real heads up. Right? You have at least 2 weeks heads up or 3 weeks heads up. So you can't tell me you're not ready for it, right? And as usual, guys, if you have any questions about not just the masterclass, but about creating content, leave your questions underneath this video, jump into my DMs, and let's have a further conversation about the importance of knowing your ideal clients so that you create content that converts them into long-term, long-term paying clients. Yeah. So guys, have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your questions. And we'll talk again soon. Yeah. Night, night. Bye.